Hi everyone, and welcome to Destination Love Life. I am your host, Margot Hudson, and I'm so happy to be here today. Welcome to the first show of the second season of Destination Love Life. Oh, wow, and the Christmas season is upon us. Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all of the amazing holidays that are being celebrated all over the world with our families. Hold on to your seats because it's time to get naked. Sometimes we gotta peel off that outer layer to get to the stuff that's important, the stuff on the inside. Especially at this time of the year, there's so many things externally that become so much more important than what's going on sometimes in our own lives and in our own families and with the people who mean the most to us. And it's time for us to start caring. That is what is going on. Because beneath all the money being spent, and this is the last quarter, so in the United States, oh God, it's such a money-driven place to live compared to many other countries around the world. And a lot of times the things that are really important, the things on the inside, on the core, a lot of times get neglected. And this is why Destination Love Life is here. And I was even clearer about what I was sent here to do when I woke up that fateful morning and I saw that horrible headline about those children in Sandy Hook. I'm not going to get into the details because I know you all have heard about what happened, and it was very tragic. It still is very tragic, and it will still continue to be tragic as we move into the future, because no one is ever going to forget this. I never thought I would see anything like this, and the stories that came after about the details of the shooting. I just can't believe it. But I know that the healing is at hand, and it's time for us. We are all, through this situation, I feel like this is the good that has come out of it, even though this is very horrible and the families are suffering. May God keep them. I just pray that as a world family, we come together and start to realize what is truly important, and what is really important is not all the stuff. We got to start caring more, everyone. It's time to care. If we don't care, what's going to happen to the next generation? If we keep giving our children bad influences as far as media and toys, entertainment and media is killing our children. I live in Los Angeles, and it is one of the most movie-driven capitals, of the world. There have been times that I've been out with my nephew and his friend, or I've been out and I've seen crazy advertisements for movies that are highly sexual, highly violent. And nobody says anything. When you give your children guns to play with that are fake, guess what? One day they're going to use real guns, and they won't think twice about it. Because you know why? They played video games for years, killing people in the video games for points, for hours and hours. If your children are at home playing with video games with violence in them for hours, then guess what? You got some seeds that are going to be growing, and you're going to have to deal with what grows. The seeds that we plant in our children will grow. Please pay attention to what you're feeding your child and what you're allowing them to be exposed to. When I thought my sister was being a little bit extreme years ago when she said that my nephew, he's 12 now, but she said that he couldn't play. Don't buy him any water guns. Not that I was going to buy him any, but he couldn't. She didn't allow him to buy water guns, BB guns. She was not going to allow him to play with any fake guns, and she didn't. He didn't grow up with not a gun in his hand. Later on in his life, when he became like 10 or 11 or 12, he actually had the first experience of holding a Nerf. It was like a Nerf gun or something, but before that, he never had any experience with it. And the one thing that it taught me, and it made me aware of, is, you know what, that's a beautiful idea. It's a good idea. We should not allow our children to be exposed to guns at an early age. And not to say that there's no reason or purpose for guns, because I do feel like there's a purpose for guns on some level, maybe to protect your home, but there needs to be proper training involved, and children should not be involved in that process playing with fake guns when they're not taught to be responsible with a gun. They just learn bang, bang, shoot, kill, and you look at the video game and that's what they do on the video game. It becomes a real life thing. And this is dangerous. I don't know when we're going to wake up, but I pray that, and I hope and pray to God that this is a wake-up call. And I feel like it is. So I feel like even though there was a tragedy, and it is a tragedy still, these seeds are growing, as we saw with this young man that took those children out. He was suffering on the inside, and this is one of the main reasons that Destination Love Life is here. This is the reason I feel like I'm supposed to do this. didn't, excuse me, I didn't want to really talk about Sandy Hook on the show today. Excuse me, because I knew I was going to cry, and I didn't want to be sitting here a big ball of crying the whole show. So I just want everybody out there to know that it's time that we be responsible. It's time that we start caring for each other. As a world family, we have to start caring more. We have to care about what our children are exposed to. We have to stand up and say something. There's a reason that this happened. I feel like there's a deeper reason, and I feel like that the Sandy Hook shooting happened, although it was very tragic, and God rest all of those souls who died in that tragedy, and bless the parents who were left behind to deal with the aftermath and missing their children, who bought gifts for their children and put them under the tree, who are looking at those gifts right now and thinking about their children. Oh, I feel so horrible for these people. I send my love to each and every one of you. But I know that we are being called to care. We're being called to care more. And if we don't answer this call, this will not be the last Sandy Hook shooting. You know, there's Chicago, there's Michigan. I'm from one of the #1 murder capitals in the country. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about people that live there. My family and friends and people that I know. I've lost a lot of people. A lot of people from where I'm from in Michigan have died due to gun violence. So I'm very clear, and I'm very aware that there's a problem. Like many of you are, there's crime happening everywhere. And it's time for us to start caring more. Our children need us. They need us to care for them. They don't understand that these guns are not good for them to play with. We shouldn't buy them. They shouldn't be available. We shouldn't be training our children for war. And that's exactly what we're doing when we put them in front of a video game where they can shoot down other living beings and kill them for points. Where you have a video game where you go out and you rob and kill people, hurt them, pull out their hearts, shoot them for points on a video game. What is this teaching us? Even as adults, all of this negativity stays in the back of the mind and the subconscious. It plays. It's always playing there. Those seeds grow. As we become desensitized to violence, we become desensitized to murder. We become desensitized towards violence towards the elderly, children, and women. It has to stop. It has to stop. I didn't want to be on here crying like this, but I'm telling you that it is time. We cannot allow this to go on. We cannot continue to expose our children to this violence. We have to stand up, and Hollywood has to listen. Toy manufacturers and video game producers have to listen up. We cannot live in a society like this and live. This is not living. Eventually these children, all those seeds that we planted in the back of their heads through video games and all this different programming of the mind is going to grow into a huge tree one day, and we're all going to have to pay the price for it. So you might think that you or not care about your neighbor's kids doing what they're doing. You might not care about what's happening on the other side of the country, but one day your life will be affected, or someone's life that you know will be affected by this violence. So ultimately, we all need to care, because it is all of our problems. It happened in Sandy Hook. It could be happening everywhere. The countless places. We all must take responsibility and start paying attention to the food that we're giving to our children psychologically. We are feeding our children negative information. I just pray that we get something really, really good from this situation. We have to start caring more. If you see someone out there who is suffering, if you're shopping, Christmas shopping, or you see someone crying in a car, go up to them and just offer some assistance. Just say, hi, how are you? Give someone a hug. You do not need a reason to help someone, and you do not need to know someone to help them or to just care. Sometimes if people just cared a little bit about each other, just a little bit of caring and help each other, I think we would be so much better as humanity. Start infusing care into our children's lives and into our adulthood view. You don't have to know someone to help them. Help someone. If we don't start caring, what's going to happen? As a world family, first of all, we need to recognize that we are a part of the world family. You might think that's not my business over there. I remember seeing violence or hearing violence against a woman once, and I did not call the police. To this day, I regret that, and I don't regret anything in life. But I just know that I could have done something that day. And many of you have probably sat in your home and you heard a gunshot, or you heard a woman, or you looked and saw a woman having violence done against her, or a man having violence done against him, and you didn't say anything. You didn't call the police. You didn't do anything. We all have to start caring enough about ourselves and each other that we will not allow that to happen without us getting involved in that process. Make sure you tell somebody. If somebody is not feeling well, or if it's you, you could be the one that's not feeling well. If it is you, there are places that can help you. If you don't have anyone, you got me here because I care. And I'm telling you, if I can't help you myself, I'm going to make sure that you can get the help that you need. Send me an email, DestinationLoveLife@yahoo.com. Send me an email. I promise you I will do everything that I can in my power to make sure you get help. No one should ever feel like life is so hard that they have to leave here. And I understand that many times, a lot of times it has to do with chemical issues. Chemical problems, in the brain can cause people to feel a little bit out of balance. PMS is a perfect example. Women out there, you've experienced PMS. It's real, right? It's real. Some men don't believe PMS is real. It's real. And men have a chemical imbalance that happens once a month actually as well. I'm not going to get into that on this show, but that's another show. I'm just like you. Life is hard for many of us. Life is not just a bed of roses all the time. And it's true that I enjoy life, and I've experienced some of the best parts of life, and I'm looking forward to experiencing more good in life. But I've also been in the dark. I've been depressed. I've had to climb out of a hole before, I made it through, and you can too. I felt, insecure before. I felt fear before. Fear of success, fear of failure. I have felt just like you. I mean, there is no difference. It's just that I'm dedicated to my own healing, and through that I've learned so much about human behavior and about how to heal myself, how to heal the self, because truly that is where peace really resides. That is where love resides, and you cannot have anything good in your life fulfilled until you heal what is going on the inside. Or else everything in your life is going to speak of that misery, of that dysfunction, from your job to your relationships with your children, and to how your children are behaving and acting out. All of these things are an outgrowth of what might be happening inside of you that needs to be taken care of. It's time for you to care enough about yourself. Don't sit there and sulk. Don't stay in that hole. It's time to get out of that hole. If you're out there suffering with something that's just too heavy for you and you feel like you can't take another step forward, I have people to put you in contact with that'll help you to get yourself back. And I also have supplements and herbs and different things that I have experience with myself. I am dedicated through Destination Love Life. I promise you that I'm going to do everything that I can to help to make you better, whatever that means. And even get your sex life together too. Can't forget about that. But before the sex life comes, we got to work on what's going on inside you, here and in this body that God gave us. You only have one, so please take care of it, everyone. Until next time, I will see you. This is Margot Hudson from Destination Love Life signing off. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share it with somebody that you love and you care about. And I'm looking forward to this season 2 of Destination Love Life is going to be an amazing ride. I have some people that you need to meet, and they have some very interesting things to say, and you don't want to miss it. So everyone, have an amazing holiday season, and I'll see you on the next show.